Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Apologies for the slight delay there. We had some issues getting everybody online. Welcome for the first round of the OKL World Series. This is at Sarno with our senior category. We've got the OKJ online. Only 8 cards on grid. Unfortunately, I think the delays getting everybody in here. Some of the guys might have said it's time for me to go to bed. But nonetheless, 8 cards, and we will hopefully be entertained by some good racing. Kyle, welcome back. Let's get going.
Hopefully some of them have got early school mornings, student mornings, work mornings, and none of them got moaned at by their wives, and that's why they had to go to bed. But yeah, we're here. It's round 1, the World Series. 8 drivers on the grid. 8 fast drivers on the grid at least. Deacon Olafia, William Johnhill, Moliel, Oscar Paulsberg, Ellis Betty, Ruben Victor, Alphonse Kiwi, and Jude Stewart. Money Shan, Alphonse Kiwi, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd probably say between Kiwi and Yonil, both of them are very, very fast. Not just worth noting, he's a Swedish driver and they don't say J, so it's Yonil. But yeah, I believe... I mean, these guys are all fast, to be fair. We've seen Deacon Willifield come through the ranks in the South African Championship as well as the African Championship. And, of course, winning the OKL Worlds last year in the junior category. So, I'd expect him to be fairly close to the front, at least. Alphonse Kiwi immediately going out. And I see I've got a double overlay there, sorry. Kiwi going out and immediately putting a very quick lap, a 101.7 with that OKJ.
No, 101.7, that's properly quick. I think DD2s were doing 102s around here, if I'm not mistaken. So properly quick there from Alphonse. Aboard his IPK Praga OKJ.
That is, of course, what he sports in real life as well. This is his lovely looking cart. And also, shout out to Alphonse who made all of these beautiful looking liveries for us. So, yeah, look at that. BT. Wow. Very close. Look at the top 3, actually. Paulsberg and his BT. Very, very close.
All within the 10. Jude Stewart, the closest African. He's down in 4th there. But the European showing us how it's done around Sarno. 101.5. Oh, even quicker for Alphonse. He's now grown that gap to 0.2 of a second. Ruben Victor sporting the OKL livery there with his angry racing suit. Ellis Betty goes out only a 10th better. Oscar Paulsberg staying the same. I'm seeing cards this week. All of you that's come up there 0.4 off the pace. So the times are getting closer and closer, and we know how big the slip is around Sarno. We saw it with the minis. Oh, Deacon super aggressive with the steering wheel through there. Oscar Paulsberg comes across the line again. Nope, doesn't improve. Still 0.327 away from our pole sitting man. Jude Stewart, head down across the line he goes. And it's still 0.6 off the pace. Ellis Betty, does he better? No, still 0.2 as well.
So
Alphonse Kiwi, absolutely flying. Let's see if he betters. Oh, a lot of curb. A lot of curb. All of the curb. Have some curb and more. 101.536. No better for him. Ruben Victor comes across the line. And again, doesn't. Jon Hill, another IPK driver there.
Let's see. Malcolm Alel, unfortunately, not improving.
Crazy to see a second gap between the entire. I know there's only 8 of them, but the top 8 separated by less than a second on a very, very long circuit, 1.6 kilometers long.
Yeah, considering the big gap between the juniors, how big that gap was. This is impressive.
Very good over the curves there. Cart barely moved. Comes across the line. Still not enough to better his previous lap. Was that Alphonse Kiwi quietly confident and in the pits?
No, he's coming out again. I think he might have probably made a quick setup change there. He'll probably only do 1 liter, right? So he'll come out, do 3 laps.
Go again, yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah, so definitely an old hand of the game, warming up his tyres quickly before he smashes in his last flyer for quali. Ruben Victor across the line. Ellis Betty's come close though, 0.042, so 0.04 of a second away from Alphonse Kiwi. So he really is getting nice and close there.
Yonil posted a faster lap and he immediately went to pits and came out again. So he probably ran out of fuel there. As he
literally over the line. So they're all running the fuel as low as possible to get the best possible lap time, get themselves on the front row for the pre-final. Pre-final does count for points, but it's not a maximum amount. The maximum amount of points will be in the final, but ideally, you want to be in the front three for both pre-final and the final.
4/10, the top 7. That's close.
Okay, that's getting close. It is now getting close. Ellis Betty, 0.042 still. Alphonse Kiwi goes out to start a flyer after just leaving the pits. Ruben Victor, not far off either. It's only 7/10. Not bad at all. Cross line to go, 2:48. Doesn't better his previous time. Malcolm, I can't like this new OKL livery.
Wow.
101.3 puts it on pole. 0.1 of a second quicker than Alphonse Kiwi, but Alphonse Kiwi, we know, has just started flyer. Fresh out the pits. Deacon Olivier, 0.3 off. Young Hill goes across the line. Still 0.4 away. Oscar Paulsberg, he stayed out. We haven't seen him go in and back out, so he's running that fuel level all the way down throughout qualifying. Does not better his... Ooh, Jade Stewart, a lot of curve there. Does it better his previous lap time. He should have gone across. He betters him his previous. 0.1 of a second. He goes up 2 spots to 5th. Ellis Betty looked like he made a mistake through that final part of the lap, or maybe just starting his flyer now.
Nope, he
didn't.
A good lap in there. Wow. Oh, we missed somebody crossing the line. Alphonse Kiwi did not improve, so
another couple
Ellis
of laps
Betty is now leading the way.
So you'll probably find that he'll need to drain some fuel, put some more laps in, get the tires up to temp. He's given himself 2-3 fast ones right here at the end. But it was Ellis Betty across the line, 101.3. Malcolm Mulhill doesn't go any better. Deacon Olivier, still 0.4 off the pace. William Nonhill on for a flyer. A little bit of a slide on the way out of the final corner onto the main straight. He goes, opens the steering wheel as fast as possible.
Does not improve. Where's Kiwi? Kiwi's hasn't improved yet, but he's going to be able to do 2 more laps. Yeah, based on where he's at now.
Yeah, he's coming into the final now, so he should get... No.
Stewart does improve. George Stewart has moved into 4th place. He's 3/10 of the pace.
Ellis Betty, does he bet his 101.322? No, he does not. Here comes
Kiwi.
Alphonse Kiwi. No response. He went better, but not enough. So, 3 thousandths of a second separate second and third, and they're in the same hundred. So that is insane.
Oh no, Deacon made a bit of a mistake into the last corner there. Oh, he's going to tow Malka along down that straight, which is not ideal.
He saw this at the last event that we actually watched Deacon Olivier in the senior category. He did the same for another driver behind him, put them first and second on the grid. William Yonel comes across the line.
No improvement this
time. Half a second off.
Everybody can still probably squeeze another lap in.
Jude's definitely going to get one. Just behind him is 229. That's Ellis Betty. So Ellis Betty and Alphonse Kiwi will both get another one in.
Yeah, starting their final laps
now. Alphonse
going
to catch it fine though. Ellis Betty crossed the line. 13 seconds remaining. He does improve. 101.2. Alphonse Kiwi. 101.2 as well. 101.29. 299. So just about 101.2. Oscar Paul's
the first one to finish. Yeah.
So he doesn't get another lap. Malcolm Millhill also canning it.
It's like, I'm done. I'm out.
I'm over it. Well, Deacon as well. He's called it.
Wow.
So Deacon, he won't be doing another lap. Jude Stewart, a lot of curve, a lot of sideways. I don't think that's going to help. Oh, this track is so bumpy.
And the only one not really getting into that under a second was Victor, just outside of the second. Victor not getting his best lap on the board. Everybody into the...
Yeah, everybody in the pit. So that's pretty much it. Ellis Betty, is he going to try and improve? It looks like he might just...
No, he's done. He was done. I think he crossed the line. Let's have a quick look there. Everybody into the 01s, and then Victor in the 2.2, so just a bit off the pace there. On his quali, he did his fastest lap on the 3rd lap. So
amazing how close these guys are with the open setup.
Yeah, look at the gearing, the top speed difference here between Kiwi and BT. What's that? 1.4 kph. Yeah, everybody else is pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
And then Alphonse has got, and then also William Yonel. But they're 2 friends, so I'm assuming they're sharing a setup there. Alphonse seems like he's got the better out of that exchange. Interesting though.
So we see the shorter and longer ratios again. Ellis Betty on the shorter ratio and Alphonse Kiwi on the longer ratio. Maybe only 1 or 2 teeth, but it makes a big difference at the end of the straights, especially when you're limiting a bit later.
Are we gonna see that same scenario like in the with the minis where
I don't think now would be that drastic.
Yeah, okay, I'd probably not, but the infield is gonna be where the guys with a lower top speed might be able to, build just enough of a gap out of the corner, depending on what their ratio looks like, though, to be able to stay in front. Or is that 2-3 kilometers an hour? That could have been 2-3 kilometers an hour with no toe. So if that guy gets into your toe, he might even get a little bit more out of it.
Yeah.
Also, I guess it depends on when you hit your limiter, right? Because
so if you're limiting at 123 k's an hour, you're still going to limit at 123 k's an hour, regardless.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It depends on how quick you hit that limit.
Yeah. So and the guy towing you is going to hit the limit before you because he's on a shorter ratio, which I think what Alphonse is waiting for, is hoping for. That if he does find himself in second place, he's got both those long straights before, the one before the final corner and as well before turn 2 to rectify any ratio issues. But that Praga car looking absolutely lovely in the liveries that he's put together. OTKs as well. That must have been an absolute nightmare to draw that. I think we've spoken about this before, Shan. Yeah. It's like throwing colored spaghetti at a white piece of paper.
Yeah, that's... I for the life of me, I simply cannot understand the guy that designed this thing, what went through his mind.
This design came out
a long time ago, I know.
15 years ago?
It doesn't matter when it came out. My brain is still trying to figure out why. Why?
It's supposed to mimic, because they were the first to come out with the aerodynamic bodywork, so it's supposed to mimic the stream of, when they put the paint over to show the aerodynamics of the car. That it's supposed to show that. As far as I understood when I read the brief when it came out.
Yeah. It's been years. Change it, guys. I don't know. I mean, it's such a classic, though, but I've never really liked the look of it.
Be a fan,
that Praga and that FK, beautiful looking. What's Malal doing?
Making sure him and Alphonse are getting into it before. What are we doing, guys?
We shouldn't be hitting up our tires anymore.
Malcolm will hand on the radiator.
It's very quick, these guys. There we go. Now it's
making sure he gets all the temperature in the engine. On the start we go. Alphonse Kiwi's got his head down. Betty's got a great launch. Malcolm, contact between himself and Jude Stewart before we even get into turn number 2. Yeeted into the barrier, both of them. 276 is still there. Contact between Alphonse Kiwi and Malcolm Hill already. Contact behind them between Deacon as well.
Chaos behind.
And it was Deacon and Oscar. Well, I can't see further back. It looked like Oscar. 129, that's William Jonhill. And 195. So it was Jonhill and Forsberg that went missing. But Alphonse Kiwi and Malcolm Hill, they're going straight at each other, hammer and tongs, before we even got to the start of the race. So I don't know the previous grievances between these two. But Malcolm Hill is chasing down Ellis Betty. Both the OTK drivers trying to hold back the IPK driver of Alphonse Kiwi. That might
of
be
the Swedes. It's the battle of the Swedes. That
might be the dispute. Right the outside he's looking. No space there. Oh, he's got a good run. We know he's got the longer ratio, so Malka going to be under pressure here down the long main straight. Do we see Alphonse push him onto the leader, or do we see Alphonse go for the move to get up into second place again, to regain his position from the start? There's the top end. Is it enough? Not just
he got it.
Untidy on the brakes.
Yeah, that's
very untidy.
Oh, here comes Malal at BT. Oops, went the wrong way.
Oh, down immediately. Full stint, didn't wait for it. Didn't need the invitation. Got it done early. So Ellis Betty demoted to second place and into the clutches of Alphonse Kiwi as we head down the long run to what was turn 2. Down the inside it goes Merle. Betty tries to go the long way around. Wasn't enough room. Does it allow Alphonse Kiwi around the outside? The next corner is a right-hander. Yes, it does. So Alphonse Kiwi up into second place. And Ellis Betty went from leading this race on the start of this lap to being at the back of this 3-car train. Just behind them, though, the lone South African at the moment. Deacon Oliver down the inside.
Late in, and it takes his countryman out there.
So that was a do not pass go. Do not collect 100 Rand. Full send down the inside. I'm sure Race Director will be having a look at that one. Ellis Betty now back in the lead. And just behind them, Oscar Paulsberg and William Yoniel. We saw them disappear in the start. So they're now fighting over the same piece of tarmac. So Oscar Paulsberg looking for his way back up the order. Into turn 2 they go. Still line astern. Couldn't get a move done just yet on William Yoniel. It did Paulsberg.
So we're going back to the front here again. Kiwi versus BT. It's a British driver against the Swede. Let's see what they're going to be able to do here. Alphonse did throw a very late lunge onto Malal there. Oops, BT celebrating.
Down the inside goes Kiwi. So BT celebrating the cutback, and all of a sudden he goes from first to second. Alphonse Kiwi, down the inside he goes and way past Ellis Betty. So Alphonse Kiwi started second in this race, now up into the front, but we know Ellis Betty's got the pace to hang on. He looked down the inside, he thought about it, but a little bit too far away. But he's got a good run out of the final corner. The slipstream going to bring him in. And it'll definitely be a run down to turn 2. But we know that Alphonse has got the longer ratio. He goes defensive on the exit. Gets a good run out of turn 1. But is it enough to hold off into turn 2? Yes, it is. He does hold it tight though through the apex. It harms him on the exit. Ellis Betty looking for the cutback. Both sides, left, right. Does he go on the inside for the hairpin? He's not close enough just yet. So Alphonse Kiwi will hang on to that lead with 6 laps left to go.
Alphonse seems very unstable under the braking, right? He seems like that car's moving around quite a lot.
Maybe just whoa! Ellis Betty getting it sideways and into the back of Kiwi. Quick celebration for that. Great job, mate.
Obviously very impressed with himself.
No, I think he might have his buttons mixed up there. Instead of the bang of the steering wheel, he's doing the well done, Betty. So Alphonse Kiwi now with the gap. We know he can be consistent, and we know the gap times are close. So whether or not BT is going to be able to close that gap, but behind them in third place, Deacon Olivier feels like he's had a little bit of luck come his way because he's starting to chase down Ellis Betty for second place. Shan, the one thing I don't want to ask, OKJs are a push start cart.
Yeah.
So is there a command in the game to do that?
Yeah. So they have to map a button, which a push cart button. So essentially, there's a guy pushing your cart, I guess. But yeah, that's.
I'd love them to animate that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, imagine that. A guy running there behind. That would actually be really cool.
Because that's how they run every single OK class around the world. You put the cart down on the grid for the final, and you push starts it from there for them to start their warm-up lap. So it'd be absolutely amazing if they could animate that. Bye bye, so I hope you're listening. Deacon Olivier, lots of curb, lots of bounce on his way to chase down Ellis Betty. It was 1.4 is his gap to Kiwi. It was that at the start of the last lap. Let's see what it is now at the end of this lap. Kiwi coming into the hairpin with 5 more laps left to run, taking all of the track and more, and even some of the pit lane. Over the curb he runs. Let's see him across the line now with Betty chasing him down. Let's see what that time difference is. He needs to get within about a half a second for that slipstream to really work, and he's brought it down by 0. So 1.4 seconds is still the gap between these two, and I don't see Alphonse making a mistake often. So as it stands, Alphonse Kiwi comfortably in the lead. Oscar Paulsberg, he's 7 seconds from his nearest rival being Malcolm Muirhill after that melee in the start. William Yoniel and Jude Stewart have decided that they will try again in the final.
Yeah, I think Jude, in that start, he got sent into the tire barrier on the start-finish straight, unfortunately. And I think that was he probably lost the nose cone or something there.
Hence why his DNF.
Technical non-compliance within our rulebook. If you lose a nose cone, a side pod, or rear bumper, you have to retire your cart.
So it's IPK from OTK from IPK. So Malcolm Muirhill, the meat in the sandwich at the moment between these two IPK carts as we literally just run down the laps at the moment. There's gaps throughout the field after a super close qualifying. Ellis Betty all but given up on chasing down Alphonse. It's 1.9 seconds. The gap between himself and Deacon Olivier has kind of stagnated. Actually, it's grown up to 4.3. And then Malcolm Muirhill is in 4th place, 7 seconds behind our leader and about 3 and a bit seconds behind Deacon Olivier, with Oscar Paulsberg a further 7 seconds behind that. So really massive gaps throughout the field at the moment.
What's your thoughts on this Cosmic, Kyle?
I think it's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, luckily it's not just me. I do not like this
like
at all.
It's very I don't know.
What's that?
I
Stars on
really,
there. I do not like it. I'm not a
I think
fan.
it's not just circles.
This looks better. Oh, beautiful OKL cart.
Yeah, actually, Shan, I'm going to take the black out of that, make it white, add a bit of blue, and call it my new K2 Motorsports sticker kit going forward. Just
There we
so
go.
you know.
You can
Just so you're aware.
just ask Alphonse. He'll update it for you. No problem.
Cool, awesome. I'll let him know. And then I'm going to IRL that and put it on my sticker kit.
There we go. And then
So
we'll
all my
slap
bro
an
art
OKL,
parts next to it,
OKL
right
sticker on top of that, and I'm happy.
Oh, of course, always done. OKL in there. Don't worry about it. So K2 Motorsport kits on all the barrels next year will look like the OKL. Moving forward to what we are seeing out on track, Shanda with a nice little filler there on what the Cosmic. I don't like it. I really just don't like the OTK new livery at all.
This thing I like. This Praga is so beautiful. Big fan.
I love the nose and then the side pod from the barrel, the thinner side pod just looks.
Yeah.
Oh.
The other thing I also really like is the RS card. Nobody's running the RS, the new one.
Yeah, the black and red.
Beautiful. I liked just the red one previously, but I think that break in the red with a little bit of black with it, it is so gorgeous.
Yeah, gone from being the Ralph Schumacher cart now just to the RS cart. And I don't know if you know this, but the Daniel Ricciardo is now being rebranded as the Rubens Barrichello.
Oh, really? No, I didn't. Great.
Yes. So we just need the RB sticker kit, and that's what I'll be running from now on my card.
I saw
Absolutely
that
love
there's
that.
I think it's for the Rotax Grand Finals. Or
Yes, it's the Barrichello cart.
Yeah, that's cool. Really cool.
So they're running the Charles. They were running the Charles Leclerc for Masters, and I think they're running the Barrichello now. It'll be interesting to see because he has qualified if he will race in Bahrain in his own brand.
Yeah. A little bit of
That'll be
bias
pretty-
there towards the driver.
That'll be a little bit spectacular, I think. F1 driver on the grid in a car with his own name on it. Looking forward to that interview.
And
Deacon Olivier, though,
what's people gonna say?
if he wins.
Yeah. He has to. It's his own cart, right? He has to win. He can't not
Yeah,
win.
look, he had proper pace in Bahrain in 2023, so I do expect it to be up there. And speaking of the man who's up there is Alphonse Kiwi starting his final lap here in the pre-final. Hopefully these seniors will give us something more to talk about, other than Barrichello and his own cart.
It was chaotic in the start, and it just faded out. From mid-race, it was
Absolutely
like
chaotic
nothing.
in the start.
But Alphonse had I wouldn't say masterful lunge there. The last corner was a bit of a chaotic lunge into that corner. What's the last corner, right? On Malal. That
Yes,
saw
it was
him
the last
fall
one. Now,
back.
interesting now, will that penalty carry over into the final? Will he have a grid
So-
slot penalty? Or...
When the new update
If
gets
there is a
released,
penalty.
if there is one, then when the new update gets released in KRP rather, we will be able to swap the grids on the start. But for now, what will happen is it will be added to his overall time, so he might lose a couple positions in the pre-final. So that's valuable points he'll lose if he gets a penalty.
Okay, so just clarifying as he goes through the final sector and through the final bunch of corners. Pole man for the final and winner here in the pre-final. Alphonse Kiwi crossed the line ahead of Ellis Betty in second place. Third will just about go to Deacon Olivier. We didn't see that gap closing as Malcolm Hill put a big effort in to close the gap. He's in fourth, starting behind Ellis Betty. Oscar Paulsberg will come across the line in fifth. And Ruben Victor will finish it out in sixth with our two DNFs being William Yoniel and Jude Stewart. That's where they'll start the final. So that brings a close to our pre-final.
I'd expect Yoniel and Stewart to be able to move through the field in some way. I mean, it was pretty close up front, though. I think Victor just hasn't had the pace tonight. If you just look at the big gap at the back here, but just between Paulsberg and Ruben Victor, he fell off by quite a big margin.
Yeah.
So I'd expect Yoniel and Stewart, if they get a clean start, to get past, probably to dispatch Victor quite quickly. You know, maybe Victor just didn't have the right setup. He could quick changes. He could get back into it.
It'll be interesting to see if there's a return of favor from Malcolm Millhill on Alphonse Kiwi after that full Mount Vesuvius there behind Sarno, Napoli, Circuito International Napoli. They've got a wonderful restaurant at this. We had some great buffet meals at this circuit in 2023. Last year, 2024. Ruben Victor shaking along there. He's excited to get going.
Yeah, Victor is really keen to get into this race. Maybe he just wants to go to bed, get this over and done with. It is getting late for the South Africans, or later rather.
No, I'm online for the Western Province Masters iRacing League tomorrow, so I need to get some laps in, and I've just rebuilt my sim, so I'm definitely gonna not be going to bed early tonight.
Have you updated
I need to get
iRacing
some
since the new
practice for
update
tomorrow.
was released?
Yes, I did. I did update now. Thanks, Shane. Thanks for the heads up.
Because I don't want you to be disappointed. Like, I'm gonna jump off here, and you open iRacing, and you're like, ah.
No, well, I'm up against Luke Lucchese and the likes in that league, so I needed all the practice I could get.
Nice. I saw. I guess it's week 13, right? I saw yesterday the Formula 1600s was on a dirt oval track. Oh.
No, that sounds amazing.
I watched some people race because it's obviously week 13. It's just a meme week, and I watched people race, and I was like, "This looks like it's gonna be fun." Oh, Malalt is
getting into each other
where it's at. He's like, "Hello."
Are these boys letting each other know? It is game on. The game is afoot, as was said by Sherlock Holmes many years ago. But Alphonse Kiwi, he knows the game's afoot. He's getting away from Volcaville on the wall flap here. Doesn't want to get involved in any incident before the lights go out. Aboard the OKJ, the Vortex engine, if I'm not mistaken, Shan?
Yeah.
Will you be doing the others as well, or?
Probably, if we get to scan them. This was just because the Vortex engine is available in South Africa. So it's a quick, easy scan for us. But yeah, we can.
Ooh, Ena.
Is there a big difference visually in them, or is it just...
No, there is some major differences visually. Like the TM shape is a little bit different. The Perilla's got a lot of blue in it.
Yeah. So
not the Perilla, the...
Yeah. Our next project, some X30s and Rotax, but let's get into the race before we talk about extra mods.
Slowing it down, we are. Mirhol starting it again. I'm not sure what that tactic is, but he just jumps out of the tram line and starts... a little bit of bang,
some nose cones there.
As we get ready for the start of the race. Race director shots green. Head goes down for Kiwi in his race. Deacon Olafia, what a start from the IPK man. He's moved himself up into second place. It looked like William Uriel was facing the wrong direction again on the start. So it looked like we've lost another spinner behind that. So the order has shifted dramatically. So BT's missing. We got Deacon Olafia in second place, followed by Oscar Paulsberg after his terrible pre-final start. He's moved up into third place in the start of the final. It's a great start from him, but Alphonse Kiwi, he's already got his head down, and he looks like he's checking out Malcolm Millhill. Was the draw. Oh, Juice Stewart sends it on the inside, gets the move done. So Malka's terrible lap one continues. He goes from 4th on the grid down to, I think that's 5th or 6th. And just
the second hairpin, he gets absolutely yoinked down the inside. First race, it was Alphonse, this time Jude. Malal is not having fun into the hairpins. Almost clipped the Jude there on the rear as well.
Yeah, he was proper late to the brakes. A little bit of the frustration showing. Oscar Paulsberg all over the back of that cart of Deacon Olafia, the IPK, the Formula K. So it's Cosmic versus FK. He leaves the inside open. Oscar Paulsberg comes in. Thank you very much. I'll take that. Deacon with a big switchback, but the next corner is a left-hander, so that's not going to work out for him. Oscar Paulsberg up into second place. Looks like he's kind of made some changes, or maybe worked in the setup a bit. He's got a decent turn of pace now after a terrible start in the pre-final. Looking to move himself up the order in final, saying to Deacon, let's get forward. Let's go chase Alphonse and see if we can catch up to him.
Yeah, I think Deacon's quite a smart driver. I won't expect him to fight much. He left the door open on Paulsberg. He knows Paulsberg's got the pace. Maybe he's just like, get past me, I'll tuck in behind you, and maybe we can catch on to the back of Alphonse. But doesn't seem like it's going to be the case.
Faster than one. So Deacon not even looking to get past. He's just hoping to push onto the back of Oscar Paulsberg. A bit of bump draft. 2 carts always quicker than 1 around any circuit. Here's the slipstream. There's the push. So Deacon Olafia pushing on Paulsberg, hoping to get onto the back of Alphonse.
Yeah, see, he's not even bumping him or anything. He's just respecting the space and letting Paulsberg do the work in front.
Yeah, pull these carts on. Oh, he's made a mistake there in that hairpin. He's lost a couple of cart links. You don't want to drop the slip here, because once you drop the slip, especially on a driver that you know has got a little bit more pace than you,
Ooh,
you're going to be out on your own.
Very slow on track now. Hopefully.
Not a retaliation. Oh, was it?
I had a big panic moment there, I'm not going to lie, guys. When I see a back marker slow down, I immediately start panicking.
It didn't look healthy at all, though.
No, luckily he missed him. I don't know if there was an attempt.
Yeah, we couldn't. There's no way for us to tell what the idea was there. But Malcolm Hill is now where is he on second now? 131. He's back up to pace, I think. Yes. Yeah. So Malcolm Hill back up to race pace, so he's no longer slowing down. So maybe just moving out of the way.
I see Williford is showing as ahead of Paulsberg. So there's a 1 second penalty. Complimentary from KRP under the track limits. So unfortunate there for Paulsberg.
Alphonse Kiwi is catching onto the back of Malcolm Hill again.
There's something happening here.
Malcolm Hill slowing down. He's done 2 slow laps. He's still got his hand up. He's in. No, what is?
So the race director, I'm not logged in as an admin, I think, should be putting him off right now, because that's
some shocking conduct. I understand if you're not happy with the way the race has gone for you, but that is conduct that is unbecoming and not something we should be showing anybody watching any form of karting. That's not anything you want to see anybody ever did. So Malcolm Hill, if you are listening to the stream, I think it might be about time you pull that car into the pits and call it a day, son. On board, though, with our current lead, second place driver on track, but not on the lap time. Deacon Olivier now staying within touch of him. So I don't know how big the time penalty is, Shan. How many seconds? 1.
It seems to be a 1 second penalty. Olivier might be aware, but the thing is, you don't. So there's Malal again on track, just cruising. I'm not logged in as an admin, so unfortunately. Am I? Let's have a quick look. No, I'm not, unfortunately. So hopefully the race director picks up on this and boots him off. He needs to be sent off of this track as of yesterday.
Yeah, in the grass, slowing down, intentionally getting in the way of traffic. Not something you want to see during, especially a live stream or a final of a World Series. But he's, there we go, he's off into the pits now. So Malcolm Hill has finally pitted that kart. And we can continue with the 5 drivers we have on track. We have lost Ellis Betty, Malcolm Hill, and William Yonil from this event. I'm not sure what happened with Ellis Betty, but he's also decided to call it an evening. On board, though, Deacon Olivier in 3rd place, chasing down Oscar Paulsberg. He doesn't need to pass him on track. He just needs to stay within a second, because there is a time penalty for Paulsberg. So as long as he just stays within touch, he can use Paulsberg to do the work and catch onto the back of Kiwi, which it looks like they are doing at the moment. That gap is down to 1.4 seconds from Deacon. So Deacon was 1.8 away. So they are definitely catching him between himself and Paulsberg. On board now with Deacon Olivier as they start another lap. Let's see how big the slip is. Oh my, it is ginormous. 3 turn 1 they go. Here comes Deacon onto the back of Paulsberg. He's not looking to pass. He's just going to bump draft. And the 2 of them are going to work together to get onto the back of Alphonse Kiwi. 1.3 seconds. So they took a 10th out of them on the last lap. We have another 8. Oh, too much Deacon. Unfortunately, Deacon pushed a little bit too hard on the back of Oscar Paulsberg there. And off goes Paulsberg. I doubt that was intentional. I think a lapse of judgment from Deacon. So there goes Kiwi. Although Deacon did have a bit of pace. So let's see if the pace is the same while he's on his own. Jude Stewart inheriting 3rd place.
It felt like Paulsberg was actually a little bit slower than Williford there. I think Williford showing a little bit too much respect in the beginning. They're just letting Paulsberg by and sitting behind him because, yeah, it seemed like Williford was just pushing away.
Yeah, it looks like he should. Let's see what the gap is now. Obviously, with the incident, it's going to be bigger. Probably about 2 seconds. Oh, 3.3.
Yeah, big.
So Alphonse Kiwi's got himself another massive lead here in the World Series to go on to victory yet again. a driver we see in the front often in OKL.
Yeah, that's for sure. Kiwi, unfortunately, getting the short end of the draw last year in the OKL Worlds. But so far in the European Championship, absolutely dominating that setup. I think the closest rival was Jake Fluid, who's unfortunately not joining us tonight. Hopefully we see the guys. We should have, I believe, 24, 25 cards on the grid if everybody actually rocks up. So we should see a nice and action-packed race, hopefully the next time around, which is, let me just double-check the calendar. I think we will be racing at Genk. Yeah, Genk in 1 month's time. The 8th of July will be having a good, proper race at that track, which was the OKL Worlds last year. Super fun.
Yeah, a lot of racing throughout that weekend. I think PFI, though, was the one that we did have a bit of difficulty getting close racing, but I do remember Genk being very, very close together.
Yeah, I see we've lost another one, so it's survival of the fittest out there at the moment. Kiwi leading the way.
Oscar called it a DNF. So at the moment, 4 drivers on circuit. A race of attrition, as they say.
And the 4 drivers, all their countries all start with a S. All the South Africans and the Swedish driver are still on track. So
yeah, the only European still going. Swedish driver Alphonse Kiwi out in front, 4.1 seconds ahead of Deacon. I think Alphonse must just lift off, wait for Deacon, let him through, and then make it a race for us. Alphonse, can you hear us? Just back off, dude. Look at that helmet livery.
Yeah,
all the attention.
He does a really good job with his stuff.
Absolutely spectacular. Even the reflection of the circuit.
And it's crazy to think that Alphonse is only, I think, a 16 or 17-year-old kid. The amount of detail he's put into these liveries and the helmets and everything. Amazing.
Phenomenal.
He's still pushing. He doesn't care that he's got 5 seconds gap. Just look at him push his cart. He doesn't care. He's driving.
Looking every ounce of lap time he can find, trying to get quicker and quicker on the Sarno circuit. Any opportunity you can get to turn laps.
I've come to realize as a driver, you don't want to be just taking it easy, because that's when the mistakes start creeping in.
Yeah,
you kind of go out of your groove.
Yeah, you fall out of that rhythm. Drop of concentration, a little mistake, and all of a sudden 4 seconds turns into that thing relatively quickly. It's amazing to see how these carts move though when you do turn them in.
Yeah. It's like the grip is there, but then it's not there, and then it's there again.
Minimal steering input from Alphonse as he rides over the curbs. Have to jump that inside curb and this one. Otherwise,
he does like a very, very pointy cart. I've driven some of his setups before, and I'm like, dude, how on earth do you drive a cart like that? You hardly touch the steering wheel. I mean, I know by a cart by default you don't really use much of the steering wheel, but you turn 1 degree and this thing just goes into the corner.
All of the caster.
Yeah, no, his driving is very specific.
Well, it seems to work for him. It didn't work out too well for Yoniel, but then again, to be fair, he didn't get much chance to show us what he can do with that setup. Deacon Olafia still there in second place ahead of Jude Stewart. These 3 have kept their noses clean. Well, bar a unfortunate incident between Deacon and Oscar Paulsberg. However, I don't think that was intentional at all. Maybe just a little bit of netcode and a little bit of lapse in concentration. I'm sure the race director will look at it after the event though. 13 of 16 to go, 3 laps to go. And we will have our winner in this final senior round 1 of the World Series. 4 drivers will finish. We're hoping there will be 17 more drivers at the next round. 24 registered, only 8 showed up tonight, and only 4 were able to finish in the 16-lap final here at Sarno. 1.6k long circuit, 16 laps of said, and round 1 is all but over with 3 laps left to go. Round 2, you say, was in Genk?
At Genk, yeah.
And
I think Genk is the smallest track of all the tracks we're racing at. I think, I could be wrong, Genk might be... Actually, PFI, is the track longer than Genk? I need to go check my
All
track
PFI
distances there.
is shorter than Genk.
Yeah, it could be. It probably is, right? On lap times, I think they might be. Yeah, no, PFI might be shorter. Yeah. Then we've got Campilos after that. That would be
Another
round
very long
number
track.
4. And then the 5th round is to be determined. We still need to figure out where we want to do the 5th round. We might have the Silverstone karting track done by then, because we were already working on it. Hey,
I think we should put it at FK. Just put it at FK.
Yeah, another long track.
Yeah.
But yeah, the nice thing about running these longer tracks is we can fill the grid with more karts. And with all the optimization we've done, we should be able to run more than 24 karts on the grid.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see 24 drivers
I
rock
do
up
not
to
want to be
race
an
for us.
admin then. I do not want to be an admin when the grid is that full. To have, yeah, there's going to be a lot of chaos. And where's our third driver? Jude Stewart making a welcome return into OKL. Didn't have the cleanest of starts to the races, but he's managed to survive.
CT there. And Ruben Victor just quietly ticking along the laps there. He's going to get a 4th place in this.
Yeah. If you just finish the race, you can score some points.
What does Hazard saying go to finish first?
First, Alphonse needs to retire.
Good one. Good one. Alphonse Kiwi. 2 more laps to go. He's going to have to do this corner twice more. And then he is done. He comes around to start his last lap of this final of round 1 of the World Series.
Still tucking. Still pushing that card.
I really, for some reason, because of the design level and what he does for KLP, I was like, must be an older gentleman. But as you told me, 16 years of age.
Yeah, I think it was 16 or he's turned 17 the other day, but he's a teenager still. And the work he's done, I mean, this livery is made by Alphonse from scratch. It's not just copy and paste. So, as you can see, really, really good work by this kid.
Suits as well, I'm assuming, Shen?
Yeah. Suit made by Alphonse as well. All the carts some of the guys run, they don't run factory, but Deacon's got the new one. I think this one might have been made by Scotty Briscoe, but yeah, pretty much same quality as you can see.
Alphonse entering the final corner for the last time, goes past the pit lane, quick look over his shoulder, not sure who he's looking for. And he crosses the start-finish line for the final time to win the final of round 1 of the World Series at OKL. Second place will go to South African Deacon Olafia. He comes across the line aboard his IPK. So IPK 1 and 2. Jude Stewart kept his nose clean and comes across the line in 3rd aboard his OTK with 2:48. Ruben Victor aboard his OKL OTK with, OKL kart with his angry suit. Across the line he goes to finish out 4th.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the grid was a lot smaller than anticipated. I think it was because of the delays. Some of the kids, maybe their parents said, time for you to get into bed. I know this is, in South Africa specifically, exam time. I think around the world it might actually be very close to it. Because I think, like in the UK, Europe, the holidays are coming up. So I don't know how it works with them, but normally before holidays we have exams here in South Africa. So I'd expect a lot of the kids to have to go to bed earlier during the week. So, but yeah, in any case, we'll hopefully see a grid much bigger the next time around. I believe we will. And hopefully be entertained by some more epic racing, which will be at Genk. Another awesome track made by OKL. Alphonse and Deacon not adhering to the speed limits in the pit lane. Luckily, there's nobody there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Alphonse Kiwi taking the victory with Deacon Willifield in 2nd and Jude Stewart in 3rd. And then Ruben Victor, the last finisher there in 4th place. Paulsberg, BT, Malal and Yoniel falling on the more unfortunate side of the coin flip and retiring their race. So yeah, hopefully we get a much more entertaining one. The start was quite nice, but then everybody got into their groove and the gaps got big. But yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Kyle, for joining us for another awesome race. evening, and we will see you guys very soon for the next one. Well, I say very soon, in 1 month's time. Kyle, I'll see you next week. I'm giving you a reminder on stream for the OKL Africa Championship, racing at Swartkops with the T4 carts. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Bye-bye.